Let's pivot to the syntax. And now, why are we watching this? I don't really want to watch this, but I feel like we have to. I feel like we have to because we have to be aware of the next movement. This is the next movement. So, you may have noticed there's a philosophical divide happening in America. And it is happening across gender lines, where young women have been radicalized by Me Too, women getting into power, by the realization that they're tired of being handmaidens for men, and, you know, they're tired of a racist being the president. So young women are getting educated, they're getting more and more left-wing, and they're getting more and more defiant of the patriarchal, like, role that men want them to play. I think it's great. I think women pulling the rug out from under this patriarchal nonsense is, like, really important. This is James Fishback from Florida. He's running for governor of Florida. He is not going to win. He is not going to even come close to winning. But what he is doing, though, is he is radicalizing young white men. He's not doing it as mainstream or as good as Charlie Kirk was doing. But I think what he's doing is he is making us realize there is still a toxic underbelly of young white disenfranchised men that are ready to blame women, blame sex workers, blame immigrants, blame trans people. They're ready to aim their vitriol. This is like the new Groyper movement. They're calling it America First. They're rebranding, and they are on the hunt. And here's what bothers me about this, guys, because I saw this in the gaming community like 5 years ago during the pandemic. You would have influencers like Aiden Ross and those other big gamer influences, and they would hang out with sex workers to increase their clout and be like studs, and then they would trash them after those sex workers helped them grow. And so there's this thing that, like, the rape culture people do where they go after the sex workers, and then it sort of blurs the line because it starts making the implication that all women are sex workers, which then reinforces that misogyny and reinforces that sort of birther vessel, like, yeah, they shouldn't be able to vote, or they're not trustworthy. And it reinforces these narratives about women, and they go after, like, young guys in middle school and high school that are, you know, maybe awkward and are, you know, have trouble talking to girls. Already girls are like several years ahead of young guys at that age, so girls mature much quicker. And then these guys roll in and they try to reel them in with that narrative. And I find these guys especially toxic.
You've proposed a 50% syntax on OnlyFans creators to discourage what you call immoral behavior. So just explain that.
Behavior.
Well, there was a time not too long ago in the United States of America where young girls aspired to be cooks and lawyers and reporters and doctors, and nowadays they are...
Dude, he said cooks. Dude aspired to be cooks. Dude. Cooks. Dude, did you notice what he started with? Cooks and doctors and lawyers and other things. He started with cooks, bro. Cooks. Dude, who aspires to be a cook? You mean for their hubby? Like, what the fuck?
Resigned to the fact that if they have an unexpected expense or they need to cover their rent or groceries, the quickest way for them to do that is being exploited by the OnlyFans platform. And so I respect women. I respect them enough to think that they are capable of anything they put their minds to. And I never want a woman in my state to be exploited by the online sex slavery that is OnlyFans.
But
and that's why, as governor,
I thought it was a voluntary platform.
It's not. There's nothing voluntary about a platform that exploits women and forces them to sell nude photos on the internet.
When you say forces them to sell nude photos, forces them.
say
This is a
false.
classic
So again,
case.
just to be clear about what OnlyFans is, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding about OnlyFans is it's voluntary. No one's forcing you to do it. People go on OnlyFans, create an account, and they charge money for whatever they want to put on their account. I'm not sure where the exploitation element, as you're articulating it, is.
Well, this is often the defense of sex trafficking, that a 15-year-old girl is voluntarily
hang on. Sex
entering.
trafficking is illegal.
And I believe that OnlyFans should be illegal as well.
Really?
There's nothing
Why? What law are they breaking?
Well, there's nothing. Well, I would change the law. I would change the law. That's how we do things. I mean, slavery wasn't illegal, and then we said this is a moral repugnance.
Now he brings up slavery.
Enslaving people on OnlyFans.
And we changed the law.
I'm really curious.
Enslaving.
Again, look, I don't. Maybe you've consumed a lot more OnlyFans content than me, and you see
I've never
trafficking
been on
and
OnlyFans,
slavery and everything
Piers.
else. But I don't. I'm not.
He says he's never been on OnlyFans, guys, but he's aware that it's exploiting and forcing people. These guys, dude, I am tired of these clowns, bro, that, like, you know, just making shit up because he's, you know, a religious, sexually shaming weirdo.
Aware that that is what OnlyFans is. It has a lot of adult content, but legal adult content, which is monitored according to the law, and that people who have accounts there do so voluntarily. They open accounts and they charge money. We have somebody I'm going to bring in a moment, Sophie Rain, who has made $43 million from her account on OnlyFans. I don't think she's been enslaved or exploited. I think she's perfectly happy and enjoys what she does. I mean, I'll talk to her in a moment, but why do you feel she's a slave?
So I feel that this is a classic case of Stockholm syndrome, where the individual, the victim, the enslaved person doesn't feel that they have real agency. This goes back to Sociology 101, Piers, that someone is induced to believing they have choice, they have agency, when in fact they can't make a decision for themselves.
This guy needs a boot in his ass, like, so hard, okay? Right? And it's because sex shames the shit out of this guy. This guy walks around and he has nothing but shame for his sexual impulses. It's fucking bullshit, bro. Like, give me a fucking break. Dude, men sell their bodies on, you know, athletic fields. Men sell their bodies on construction sites. Men sell their bodies in warehouses. Women sell their bodies on athletic fields. Women sell their bodies in, you know, adult content. Men sell their bodies in adult content. Men sell their bodies as weightlifters. You know what I'm saying? Men sell their bodies as, like, beefcake actors or Chippendales dancers. I mean, give me a break, dude. We all sell ourselves. Give me a break, dude. They're so dumb. Stockholm syndrome. Oh yeah, like women. And here's the other thing. You ready? You know the other thing about this, guys, that bothers me is these assholes, they act like every woman who opens an OnlyFans just makes a bunch of money, okay? They act like it's this crazy, like, oh, it's so easy for women, so once they do it, they just get hooked into it. But it is hard as shit, guys, okay? It is like everything else. Most of the women doing OnlyFans are never going to make a living. The same way that most YouTubers are never going to make a living. Or most, like, Twitch streamers will never make a living. Or most TikTokers will never make a living. Because the reality is like, it's really hard. You need a lot of luck. You need a lot of luck. You need to, like, be in the right place at the right time and just hit that zeitgeist thing. Yeah, same with actors. Most actors are never going to make a living. It's capitalist like everything else, man.
I want young girls in my state to aspire to be astronauts, doctors, nurses, small business owners. I believe a radical thing that women can do anything they put their minds to, Piers.
But dude, if you have a successful OnlyFans, you are a business owner. You are an actor. You are an internet personality, right? He wants them to be nurses. Like, dude, you notice that shit, though? Nurses. Like, give me a break, bro. He's like, oh, I fucking hate these guys, dude. I hate the groypers, bro. Dude, I say, you know what I've thought, guys? You ready for this? I've thought that like married women should start charging for sex. Okay? Seriously, women who are married to red pill men should start charging for sex. Take some agency over that relationship. Quit giving your body away to these creepers. Seriously, require them to pay, bro. Don't give your body away to men who think like this. Men who want you to be a cook or a nurse. Men who want you to be a birthing vessel or who talk about taking away your right to vote. Make them pay. Dude, make them pay, dude. Hey, man, you're going to have to go to my Cash App if you want me to come to bed, honey.
And I don't want them resigned.
So do you think, just to be clear, do you think modeling is modeling to you immoral?
I think naked modeling, however you want to euphemize it, naked modeling is immoral.
I mean,
absolutely.
Cindy Crawford was one of the greatest iconic supermodels of all time. She's done naked modeling. So is she a sinner? Is she immoral? Should she be paying 50% back of her income?
Well, in that particular act of modeling, yes, and modeling nude, but you and I both know that Cindy Crawford was not known for her nude modeling. She was predominantly known for modeling for runway shows.
So should we
in London,
retrospectively
Paris,
go back to every supermodel who's ever posed nude and get 50?
By the way, dude, President Trump's wife modeled nude. Dude, there's nothing wrong with nude modeling. My God. Dude, hey, Fishback, you were nude when you came into this world. Dude, I want this guy to pay for me having to listen to his shit. I'm serious. I feel like this guy should give me $50 for having to listen to the stupid shit coming out of his mouth, bro. Yeah.
As much as I'd love to do that, that's not legally possible. What I'm going to do is I'm going to raise an OnlyFans
Why do you have a problem with
syntax.
women's naked bodies, James?
By the way, Piers, you keep talking about women. There are thousands of men on OnlyFans, and this is going to apply just as equally to them. And so you're the one selectively outraged about women.
That's a very good point.
It's a very good point. If you're a man or a woman producing or consuming this content, and by the way, Piers, what you haven't brought up is that as governor, I would also levy a consumption tax. I'm not going to spare the men in this equation as well. If you're a young man and you're watching pornography, put down the phone. Go to church, pray, and find a real God-fearing woman. Society is not...
Dude, I hate to say this, but I think you're better off watching a little adult content than you are going to church. Let's be honest, okay? I'm serious. Find yourself a God-fearing woman, a.k.a. a submissive weirdo with bunker Bible eyes. Give me a break.
Not going to be dictated by men and women commodifying and using one another in these ephemeral social relationships. No, it's not transactional sex. It is a romantic experience that is reserved for a man and a woman in the sanctity of marriage.
Okay, well, look, why don't we just bring in Sophie Ray? Just hang on there, James. So, Sophie, welcome to Uncensored.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You have 4.5 million, well, there are 4.5 million OnlyFans creators. You are, I think, the highest earner. It's claimed that you've made $43 million. You've got 8.5 million Instagram followers, 14 million on TikTok. So you're a massive social media phenomenon. For those who are not familiar with your work, how would you describe it?
Well, I post on many platforms. I post content on Instagram. I post content on TikTok and all the above. And I also post content on OnlyFans. And honestly, I do a little bit of everything. I do a little dancing TikTok videos. I'll post Instagram photos. And then obviously my OnlyFans content.
And would you describe it as pornographic, or what would you describe it as?
I mean, I wouldn't describe it as pornographic, but it's definitely adult content for sure.
So what do you feel about James Fishback and his plan to tax you 50% as a sin tax for being a sinner?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, it's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. Florida already has no income state tax. It doesn't exist. So it seems very selective, and it seems like it's a punishment.
There, James, are you there, James? Yeah, you are. I mean, Sophie says that that she feels like...
Dude, a 50% tax is crazy. Dude, 50% tax is like, dude, James, like, he disappeared, dude. He was off, like, he was on OnlyFans, fucking tugging one before. But 50%, guys, 50%. Now, mind you, again, if you go to Florida, Florida is like all sex industry, guys. I'm serious. Florida has more strip clubs and they're massive, okay? The strip clubs in Florida, this has been well known. Adult actors go to Florida for like 2 weeks at a time to make a killing in the strip clubs. All of these right-wingers, the young right-wingers that go to Florida, they all go to strip clubs, okay? The right-wingers, Florida is a religious right-wing state, but it is like a massive strip club industry, like massive. And it has been well known for, you know, for like 25 years, dude.
This is a punishment. Why are you punishing her?
Well, hey, Sophie, good to meet you. It's not a punishment at all. What it is a deterrent. I think Sophie recognizes that our state was better off when young women aspired to be teachers, small business owners, doctors, and lawyers, as opposed to creating adult content. I can respect Sophie Rain as an individual and still respectfully call out that I don't want thousands of young women who are in high school today to feel like the only way they can make a living when they graduate is selling adult content, video, photos of themselves on the internet. And so, Sophie, look, with all due respect, I know you're from Florida. I'm from Florida. We both love our state. I want what's best for you, and I want what's best for every single woman in our state, and that's not to be objectified and exploited by the OnlyFans owners.
Sophie, what's your response to that?
I feel like as adults, we are all able to legally make our own decisions. And I think that we should also educate a lot more on all of these opportunities that you're speaking of, because I just don't think that we should be singling out any individual for what they choose to do.
James?
Well, I want to single out drug dealers, Sophie. I want to single out people who are committing crimes in our society. And so as governor, my responsibility is very simple. I want to make sure that there is a path. I'm not going to be one of those Republicans
who's going
to
any
attack
crime.
women.
And it seems to me that your initial assertions before we spoke to Sophie, that she was, you know, that people like her on OnlyFans are enslaved, they're being exploited. You do an analogy just now to drugs and whatever, which are illegal, obviously. Nothing she's doing is...
I mean, I'll tell you why they go after the OnlyFans in particular is why I think they single out the OnlyFans. It has to do with they're making all the money. They don't want women to be profiting off the industry. It's pretty smarmy, dude. Dude, they're so smarmy.
Illegal. It seems to be entirely of her own free will. She's very happy doing it. She's very popular doing it. You know, under the First Amendment...
Well, have you asked her that, Piers? Have you asked her if she's happy?
Under the First Amendment of the US Constitution, what business is it of yours to stick your oar in and want 50% of her cash?
No, Piers, did you ask her if she was happy? Because she posted a video 2 weeks ago on International Women's Day where she was interviewing her former self, who looked to be disappointed, who aspired to be, quite literally, in Sophie Rain's own words, an astronaut. Sophie, you are smart. I know you. I know your family. You are capable of anything you put your mind to. And so when you're doing this little cute Spider-Man dance online and you're creating this adult content, know that that person that you used to be still wants something more out of you. And I, as the governor of the state, want every single woman in Florida to achieve their maximum potential.
Dude, he's so condescending, right? You see that? Like, oh, that like, oh, let me tell you how you could be valuable, right? Dude, what an asshole. I'm serious, bro. Right? Like is what Donald Trump does on Twitter or selling phones that he never ships, is that honorable? Selling Bibles with his signature on the cover, is that honorable? Like, give me a fucking break, dude. Or The Apprentice, was that fake reality TV show honorable?
Sophie?
I mean, I think just realistically speaking, I'm very happy with where I am, and I promise I would never would have never got to where I am without the platform. Like, I've built businesses outside of this. I am constantly, chasing new dreams and everything. Like, I'm very happy with where I am.
Yeah, Sophie, you come from a devout Christian family, I understand. You grew up, by your own admission, pretty poor. The family didn't have much money, relied on food stamps as a child. You were working as a waitress. You then went on OnlyFans. You said you got fired from your restaurant job and your boss discovered the account and so on. And now, obviously, you've become incredibly successful and rich doing this. What do your family make of your transition into this world?
They're actually very supportive of me. Definitely at first, they didn't really understand it and they were cautious of it. But I sat them down and I talked them through everything. I'm being safe. I'm doing everything legal. Like, I'm good. And they're very supportive of where I am.
Are you genuinely happy?
I am. I would have never. I own my own house. Who at 21 can say that? Like, this has gave me so much autonomy over my life. And I'm just so grateful for the platform, because I wouldn't have been here, especially in today's economy.
Right. I mean, James Fishback, I'm thinking of, say, the Kardashians, people like that, right? They're always stripping off and they're making millions, billions, actually, as a family, from their bodies predominantly. They don't have any other discernible real talent. It's just stripping off and being...
He just slammed the Kardashians.
In the media. And it's been very successful. Does your sin tax apply to them?
The sin tax applies to adult content on the internet, whether it's OnlyFans or any other platform. Piers, let me just ask Sophie a question. Sophie, if the number of women doing OnlyFans tripled in Florida tomorrow, would that be a good or a bad thing?
I think honestly, it would be a great thing. A lot of women are trying to find different ways to make more income in a, heavily damaged economy. So I think that there should be those opportunities out there for these women to make an income.
Why not?
Sophie, let me ask Sophie a
Sophie and I both agree. We both
on.
agree that the economy is badly damaged. I proudly voted for President Trump, Piers, in 2024.
Dude!
And I have to tell you that I am not proud of the work that he has done. We are not living in a golden age.
Dude, we both agree that the economy sucks. Dude! Oh my God, bro. This guy is like, see, he's not, he has no ability to back up his shit. Dude, he is such a weakness. Oh, we both agree the economy sucks. Oh yeah. And I voted for Trump and now I'm disappointed. So I'm running for governor and I think Sophie Rain should pay more taxes. Dude, the worst candidate ever. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.